Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. Today, we're going to be talking about Tesla as per usual. So if you enjoy, don't forget to hit that like button. It does help a lot. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And of course, my membership section on YouTube is live. The link is below if you're interested. Check it out for $3 a month, where essentially I share my intraday thoughts on Tesla as it's moving throughout the day. So with that being said, let's talk about it. Tesla closing the day down almost 2% on the day. Let me go ahead and open up TradingView because it shows the actual close. This right now is taking into account aftermarket, so it's not like what it actually closed at. But TradingView, right? So 1.9% at 212.42 per share. So that's going to be where we close. Now, overall, a very rough day in the market. QQQ down almost 2.5% roughly, which Tesla, relative to the market, doing pretty well, which is a good sign. That's, respectable for Tesla, which is not too bad. Now, with that being said, you can see overall, though, on top of QQQ, painful day in the market. PayPal, 5%, AMD, 5%, NVIDIA, 4%. Google was down like 9%. I don't know where it is. I'm trying to look for here. It's almost 10% on Google's. I'm eyeballing this, by the way. If it gets to this 200-day moving average, I'm not going to lie. It's looking kind of tempting. But yeah, so overall, Tesla holding up pretty well with all things considered, even though it was still technically a bit of a painful day. So the most important thing to discuss is exactly what we've been discussing for a while now, which is this little bit of a bear flag. That's exactly what I was talking to my members about pretty much the majority of the day, because that was the main thing to discuss, right? But the point I'm trying to make here is the fact that we did break down, right? We had a bit of a bear trap on the very first hour of the trading day, rose back up, got back into the channel, kind of chilled for a bit, but nonetheless still broke down. And that's what I was telling my members, how even though we actually barely held on and went back into the channel, I still expect a breakdown. And that's what we got, right? And I talked about to my members, hopefully I said this in the video yesterday, but I said how my price target for this breakdown from this bear flag or little small upwards channel, if you will, technically a bearish channel, I guess, if you will, because it breaks down bearishly usually, is 212, 210. That's pretty much roughly where we are right now, because you can see massive area of support and used to be resistance as well. So that's kind of where we are right now. I did buy shares here. I bought half of what I was willing to buy in this general area, just in case on the off chance we don't hold here and we drop back down to like 205, which I think is a possibility. I don't think it'll happen. RSI is looking great. The MACD on the 65-minute chart looking perfectly fine, at least in my eyes right now. There's a chance the two lines meet here and then we bounce off of that. Very real possibility, but it's looking not bad. And this area should be a nice area of demand and overall a support area as well. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, but I'm also opening myself up for the possibility that we re-enter once again that very, very low 200s, which on the weekly you can see is a good area of support as well from just past experiences. Support here, massive support here initially, right? Resistance here, and then kind of a support here a little bit, support here. Now we're kind of doing it again, a support here. We have the 200-day moving average around 206, right? Just an overall important area to understand that, there's a good chance that we continue bouncing off here, at least on the weekly time frame. It's a strong area of demand, at least it should be. The one thing that's concerning is the weekly MACD not looking so hot. I'm not gonna lie, looking a little bit bearish. I'm not really sure how to go about this one, but it's not looking ideal. That's one thing that's making me a little bit concerned. The RSI is looking very mediocre at best. The VIX is closing above 20, which I don't like. I don't like the fact that this is above 20 and it's hanging on there. That's pretty bad. It's kind of bullish for the VIX and kind of bearish for the market overall. So, even though I do think that we'll hold this 212, 210 area, I'm not closing myself out of the possibility of us not only dropping to 205, but potentially even coming down to 180s. And I'm leaving myself open for that. I don't think it'll happen just yet, but it's absolutely not impossible. So essentially what I personally expect to happen, again, to reiterate, is a bounce from this general area here up to about 240s, retest the breakdown from this overall channel, come back down, then we retest this blue line over here, and then we rally. That's kind of what I expect, right? Because again, the way I look at this is the fact that we are essentially in a large bull flag, right? If you look at from the bottom over here, take the pole, bring it all the way to the top, right? Nice pole, beautiful looking bull flag so far. And like I said, bull flags are usually 5 points, sometimes 7, but usually 5-point touch points, where essentially you have it like this. You have touch point 1 here, touch point 2 here. These both count as touch point 3 because they never went back down. So I counted as touch point 3 for both of them, but nonetheless, that's 3. Come back down here for 4 and then break out for 5, right? Oops, ignore that last one. But that's usually how it works, right? And that's kind of what I'm expecting. The question to me is still, do we get this bounce first to retest this channel and then we come back down? Or maybe, especially with the VIX looking kind of spooky, do we come down straight to this 185-ish area first, get it out of the way, just kind of rip off the Band-Aid. It is what it is. I personally would prefer that. And then we have a nice end of year rally. That's what I would personally prefer. That's what I would like to see happen. So I'm ready for that if it does. But if it doesn't, that's why I have shares and I'm nibbling here as well, because if we do bounce from here and we do get that rally first to about, let's say 230 is the first main level, in my opinion, followed by 240, because again, don't forget 230 has the 21 EMA approaching it as well. And it's also on the weekly, sitting around 235. So that will be the first level I'll be looking at to potentially get some resistance at. If we break above that, then we go to the 240s to retest this channel, right? Those are the two main levels I'll be looking at for upside. And in my opinion, the way that upside unlocks is breaking above 220, because you can see we're having a lot of issues with 220. We broke below 220 here, came back up, failed, came back up, failed, came back up today, failed. So just take that for what it's worth. 220 is crucial here. And that's the main thing I'm looking at, because on the 65-minute chart, ultimately the RSI is looking fine, looking perfectly fine, looking nothing concerning to me, at least at all, from the bullish aspect. The MACD is looking pretty good to go. Honestly, it's not looking too bad just yet. It's looking all right for a potential short-term bounce. So that's why I'm feeling pretty good about this 210 to 212 area. If we break it below, we of course come down to 205. We talked about that, very strong level. Now, if we do break below 200, that's where things get a little bit spooky. That's where I think we'll come down to about this bottom part of this bull flag channel, which again brings us to about the 180s, around the 180s. And then ideally, of course, we bounce off that. And I think we'll get a very strong and powerful bounce for the end of the year rally if we go straight down there from here instead. I don't think it's happening, not yet. But again, it's absolutely not a 0% chance either. And I'm opening myself up for that possibility. QQQ is technically in a little bit of a bull flag as well. You can make an argument right here as well, right? So take a look at this, right? Massive rally. And then of course we have a potential bull flag setting up here as well. So that's something else to consider. I mean, this looks pretty textbook of a bull flag. This 1, 2, 3, 4. We're approaching, actually, we're technically on the 4th touch point right here, right now. I don't know. It's looking pretty good. I know it's a lot of people are screaming a lot of bearish things and people are getting quite bearish here. But in my opinion, the market's not looking that bad, man. It's not looking that bad. Could be a little bit more pain ahead, but it's overall not looking that bad. The only real concerning thing to me right now is the VIX above 20. I don't like that. That's the part that's making me concerned and making me a little bit being, a little extra safe than I would usually be. Otherwise, not looking too shabby whatsoever. But that's the main thing I'm looking at. There's really not much more to complicate this, right? I don't want to make this video too difficult, too complicated, too just all these things thrown out from left and right. To me, that's the most important thing to look at, right? Again, do we hold 210, 212? Phenomenal. Then the next step is to break 220. If we do that, 230 is easily next for the 21 EMA. If we break above that, I think 240s to retest the channel. That's the upside potential. Below that, if we break 210 to 212, we head back to the overall massive area of demand on the weekly, which is again that very low 200s with the 200-day moving average. If we break below that, that's where I think we come down to the 180s, touch the bottom part of this bull flag, and I think we ultimately, hopefully, hold, bounce, and get a beautiful end of the year rally regardless. But that's how I'm looking at it. That's how I'm seeing it. I don't think it's too bad. Even if we drop from here to 180, it's not that much more. It's only about a 12%, which for Tesla can happen in like 2 days easily. So we'll see. But that's kind of how I'm seeing it. So let me know what you guys think down below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. And as usual, of course, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.